A couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to build these saw vices and sell them, and I really haven't done a lot with it. It's been a thought process more than anything, and the other day I decided to start building on one and get back to that subject. And so I started with this, and it's just made up of some random stuff that I had laying around, and done a lot of machining on it to make everything fit the way I wanted it to fit. And it's pretty good. It's stout, it's strong, it doesn't wiggle, it doesn't jiggle. Nothing moves around on it. It clamps everything solid. My old one, this one, I made this one up in a hurry, and it's just plumb wore itself out. Everything is wiggly and jiggly and doesn't move the way it's supposed to move, and it wasn't made right, so everything is loose and everything wiggles. Didn't really have the time or whatever to make it work, but I had this increments in here so you could put it wherever you wanted it, and this works out fairly well. But all the stuff is in the way. I wanted it cleaner, so I decided to go with pinch block instead. This one I had made with two bars welded together. One is a steel mount bar and the other one's a Husky mount bar, and I just welded the two together so it would mount kind of either one, and it worked fair, but I had to always, play with a chain adjuster lined up in the hole to have a saw where I wanted it. And it worked, and it got me by for a long time. But I made it to fit an 084, 088 mount. I think that's about the biggest mount out there. So that fits quite well. This block was probably the most thought in the whole thing. I wanted it to miss the chain adjuster, so I didn't have to mess with that. And just put a bar nut on here, and you're ready to go with it. And as long as I had an 84 here, I thought it was a good time to go ahead and build new vise. And it's not perfect. It's got some things yet that I kind of like to change. This is a 660 on here, and of course now this one fits a little bit loose, but we put a bar nut on here and tighten it down, and it's not loose anymore. If it's too loose that you're going to move that, why put two bar nuts on it? But one's more than enough, and then we can rotate it and stuff. But this doesn't turn out quite right, this lever, and I've played with different washers to time it different, and I get it so it's out of the way, doesn't hit the saw, so it's back over here to tighten, and it's in the way for this lever to rotate it. And so I don't know, I haven't really decided what to do about this. I could have it on top, turn this way, but I think it'll still be an issue. And with the mount here, I think I could put anything on there. And the John's Root or Husky, same thing, It's a little loose in the mount because the mount's for an 88, but I don't see that as being any kind of an issue. And I wanted it short enough here that you could get to the clutch and take it on and off and all that kind of stuff, and I wanted it clean back here so you could get to the muffler bolts and stuff, which the other one, this was always, all the stuff was always in the way on the old one. So kind of what I decided to do was I think I'm going to eliminate this lever, and I'm just going to put a bolt in here. I thought I'd really like the levers, but You know, I thought about different ideas for this too, and I don't think it's not that big a deal to have a wrench here, and we can just set that anywhere we want it with the wrench, and you know, and then it's out of the way. You know, if I have this back here, the other lever on there, then it was in the way here. I was hitting each one, and you know, you'd move it over, and you know, this just didn't work. So, and I might even just put a bolt in there too, just so I don't have this sticking back here. Make this cleaner for laying tools down back here and stuff. And I don't see this as being a problem. You know, leave the wrench lay right there, and they're solid. You know, nothing's moving here. I made this adjustable. I probably should have left this longer. I certainly could have. And the tail of it could have always been cut off. It would have stuck back here. And that always could have been cut off once a guy determines, you know, how far away from his bench he wanted to be. And I think that's how I'll build the next one. This is fine for me. I don't need it any longer than this, but maybe somebody else would, you know, be able to adjust this out. Put a flat spot on here for the set screws. These collars are just onto the set screw, so you can slide the collars and you can adjust this back and forth. I've got it so I can adjust it all the way up to here. So I've got an inch of adjustment in there, but I could have left, you know, 4 or 5 inches of adjustment in there. And if you once you decided where you want it, you could always cut the tail off if it bothers you back here. And I welded this collar on, and I don't know, I think that was a mistake. I think that should have been the same thing. I could have put a flat or 2 flat spots, you know, 90 apart, put 2 set screws in it, and this could be fully adjustable. You know, there's nothing that you know, still is, but you got to pick it up. And I should have made that an adjustable collar for height, so you can adjust the height of this thing too in case you wanted it higher or lower. I mean, it's no big deal to pick it up and lock it, but that could have been a collar, and I think that will be on the next ones as well. And then I didn't split this whole piece in the back, and I fought with my split cut here, and I realized that I needed to put a half cut in here. You know, this is cut basically in half to let that squeeze better. This one's cut full length, and I should have cut that one full length as well, and it would have been easier to clamp, but this works. This was an afterthought, so you know, when I painted it, there's no paint in there. And the guys are asking me about a price on these. I don't know. I have to make up my mind on my materials. This is a solid shaft. It doesn't need to be a solid shaft. This is bushing stock. This is bushing stock. I think it could be a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. This is a piece of tubing that I had. This piece here is a piece that I kind of going to need to outsource this. I've got just a little mini mill, and it's not up to par to be milling these blocks out. So I'll probably have to outsource this part. But the rest of it's, I have no issues with making the rest of it. So we'll see. I'll get back onto this. I want to use this one for a while and see how I like it, see what kind of changes I want to make to it, and go from there. But I do believe I'm gonna get rid of these levers and just use a wrench. I think this is, it's out of the way, it's cleaner, the levers aren't there, all that kind of stuff for working on the saw. So I think this is the way to have it, just with a bolt. It works as good as anything. So a few more changes, a few more improvements on it. I'll put some time on this one. We'll decide what we're going to do. This one's going to be my own, so if I hack it up and make it ugly, it's my own tool. So, but I want to work out all of the problems that are cropping up and then I'll probably be offering these for sale. They won't be cheap, so I don't know. You're probably going to be in the $300 range, I would assume, or maybe more. Depends on how long it takes me to build one and the cost of materials. So give me some feedback on it. Tell me what you think, and we'll go from there. Thanks. Bye.